What's up everybody, Jared coming back to you again on my channel, KeystoneCarry. Today's a little bit different video. This is the first time I've done something quite like this. And by the title, you know that there's a one wheel involved, and you know what? I'm gonna be 100% honest, I'm not into one wheels. That's not the point of this video. My bro Ridge, who is Ridge Host on Instagram, he's also building a YouTube page as we speak. Behind the scenes, he's getting content and stuff together. So when I get the word that he's done with that page, I will put a link in the description here. Definitely go check it out. Check out his Instagram page. Phenomenal photographer, a really good friend of mine. Anyway, Ridge and I were out at a spot that's a local area called Old 82. It's an awesome hiking destination. There's some rock climbing, trails, and an awesome lake. We get drone shots there, and we do product shots and stuff for TA targets. So we were out there doing a product shot, and I suggested that we get a little B-roll segment together of his one wheel. So I had him hop on his one wheel, and I chased him around with my Crane 2 gimbal and my EOS R, which I'm recording with right now. And then I went into Premiere Pro and threw together a little 60-second teaser edit that I put on my Instagram and put in my story highlights, so you can find it there as well. So what I'm gonna do in this video is a little bit different than anything I've done before. I have this B-roll segment that I dropped on my Instagram page. It's in my story highlights. I'm gonna play that for you here. And then after I'm done playing through that, we're gonna hop over onto my PC right away, and I'm gonna show you the timeline and a couple of the little tips and tricks and things that I did in this timeline to get this edit to look the way it does. Now, I'm not gonna profess to be the best videographer out there. I really don't think that I am. I'm just on a constant learning journey, and I'd like to share with you what I've learned so far. So this is a constant evolution for me, but I think you'll enjoy it. I think you'll like kind of seeing a little bit of a behind the scenes of how people achieve shots like this, because it's really not that complex. But without talking anymore, let's get into this B-roll segment. I'm rolling it right now. Enjoy it, and we'll talk about it. All right, pretty slick little edit. I'm very happy with it, very proud of it. Let's hop over to my PC, we'll check it out, and I'll show you the timeline. Okay guys, we are now at my computer. I'm gonna dive into this timeline. I'm gonna try to keep this really short, because again, this is not a tutorial. I'm just trying to show you a couple of the tips and tricks that I've learned so that hopefully we begin to kind of demystify videos for you. And that's how I've been approaching this, is I've been watching people way better than me so that I could learn what they're doing, so I can stop stressing about stuff that I don't know and start applying different tactics and skills that I'm picking up along the way. So let's jump into my screen. Okay, right here you see my timeline, and this is, again, a 60-second video. There's not a whole lot going on here. I'm gonna give you a basic rundown of what these different layers are. Now, the green layers down here are music, so nothing fancy there. These are from Epidemic Sound. I do have a membership with Epidemic Sound. I pay monthly for their services. I'm not sponsored by them. I also use Artlist for my music. Again, I have no sponsor for software like that at this time. I do pay monthly just like you will, and I've had good luck with both of those for my music and my sound effects. The yellow here, the one that I'm hovering over right now that I'll expand, that has a little bit of ramp up, ramp down of the volume, that's water. As I got close to the lake in one of the shots, it just seemed fitting to have a little bit of running water, just to hear that in the background quietly. This is just nature sounds on this other yellow one. So I got that off of Epidemic Sound. It's like birds and some wind blowing and things like that. It just adds a nice touch to the video. The purple layers here that you'll see, and this one that I forgot to make purple, are simply whoosh sound effects. So as I ramp up my speed and ramp back down, you'll hear those sound effects. They're very subtle, but they're there, and you can tell that they're there. So the first clip here is super easy. I was simply holding the gimbal And as Rid was coming towards me, I was holding my gimbal, I dropped it low, and I walked backwards. And he came to a stop, and I continued on and raised my gimbal at the same time. And I thought this was kind of fitting to just go to black immediately. So I'll just play through that real quick, and you'll just see that. So it just goes to black. I thought that was a nice little feel for the video. What you'll notice is right away I have a ramp up, and I simply held the camera, and if you envision this, I was holding the camera freehand down toward the ground, and I'll go slow here so you can kind of see the ground down there. I simply pan up over the rock to the one wheel, and it gives a nice effect by ramping that up, and you can see where I brought the speed up, and then I just gradually had it ramp back down to a slower speed. So we'll watch that in full speed. All right, you're gonna notice the same thing. I've got a whoosh sound effect, and you'll notice that on my timeline here, I ramp up this clip, and I simply have another clip that I ramped into from a different angle. So here, I tilted the camera down and to the left. It got fully covered by that rock, and then I started off on the rock and came up to the one wheel itself. Now I could have made this smoother. I wasn't the happiest with this transition, but it does work, and we'll play at full speed. All right, right here I just did a little ramp up just to kind of reveal the corner of the one wheel and the lines of the body. I thought that looked pretty neat. Again, I have another swoosh, ramp up and ramp back down into a different view. There's no effect here. And again, I'm not saying this is necessarily the best way to do this, but I don't have anything other than a clip butted up against each other, and then some speed ramping, and then that whoosh sound effect, and your brain kind of fills in the rest. So that's how I did those ramp up sections. Then I went back to black. Here I just did one shot. Now this is gonna look like I masked it. I did not mask this as a transition. This is simply Ridge picking up the one wheel. I pan around the rock, let it cover my frame fully. He sets the one wheel down, it goes back to black. We'll play through that real quick. All right, so what you'll notice here is, again, I just had him pick up the one wheel, completely covered my frame with the rock. I felt like it gave a nice, cool effect, almost as if I masked that as a transition. This yellow here is the sound effect of him picking the one wheel up off the rock, and I got that off of Epidemic. And this is just a little thump on the ground as he lays the one wheel down. Now from here, he's just driving. Now these blue lines here, these blue pieces of audio, I recorded the actual sound of the one wheel motor as he was driving. So those are the actual sound of the one wheel, just kind of repeated over and over and over again to get a nice little hum in the background. Similar to what you would hear in real life. Now I didn't have my mic on at this time, so I kept it pretty quiet. It's not the clearest audio, but it worked for my video. So I simply tracked him, and I did a little bit of speed up here because I did not want, I didn't want to have a minute straight of him driving, and you know, it gets kind of boring after watching that. So we'll just play through this. Speed ramp a little bit here. Now right here, if I click on this clip, and you'll notice I applied a mask. You'll see it in blue lines around the clip. The dotted blue lines are the feather that I applied to the mask. I passed in front of a tree, and I put the tree between Ridge and myself, and it covered the entire frame. And I like using little transitions like this, so I'll just drag it real slow. You'll notice that as I drag the clip, my mask follows that line of the tree, and it's revealing this bottom clip that I now have selected. So let's play that back full speed. Play it back again. And then again, I added a little whoosh sound effect. And you can get those on Epidemic Sound, you can get them off of Google, you can find them all over the place. Just search for ones that you like and the ones that you think sound best for your clip. Now the rest of this clip is super simple because I did nothing else other than track him. And then I just have a simple dip to black and an exponential fade. On my audio down here is the exponential fade, and then the dip to black is on my footage, and then I have exponential fades on all of my audio and different sound effects that continued throughout the life of the clip. So that's it. That's the entire timeline, nothing super crazy. I just got out of the phase where all of this is super overwhelming, and now I'm learning that none of it is overly complicated. You just have to have an open mind and be able to absorb the information. All right, guys, let's roll that clip one more time. Like I said, look for those different features, and hopefully you can learn to apply them in your own footage for your next video project. Let's roll it. There you guys have it. Super simple edit. An awesome day at Old 82 with Ridge and his one wheel. It wasn't super complicated, and what I'm finding is stuff that used to stress me out. As I learn, it becomes easier and easier and easier. And then I start to realize that the stuff that I see these professional videographers doing isn't all that complicated. It just takes time and a willingness to be open-minded and to learn, and also to suck sometimes. It's okay to put out a trashy video that isn't up to the quality that you know eventually you will be at. This is all a journey for me, and I'm on the same path that you are. Hopefully this was a little bit helpful for you, at least a little bit enjoyable. I appreciate you taking the time to tune into my first video like this. I've never done one with my screen recording and showing you guys how I do stuff, so hopefully it helped. Leave me some feedback in the comments section below. Let me know what you thought of the edit. If you're into one wheels, let me know. I'm not. I always fall off of them. I suck at riding them, but guys like my bro Ridge, they're all into them. They go ripping around at like 14 miles an hour and shred all over the place, and I'm stuck chasing after them with a gimbal. Sounds like it's a terrible trade-off. I really got the short end of the stick with this one. Really got it. I was really worn out after chasing him. It looked slow because I ramped it down. I was hauling. I was going as fast as I could to chase after him. Yeah, I definitely got the short end of the stick. Guys, I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. Stay well, stay safe. I'll see you in the next video.